अजीज़ तलबा और तालबात, फ़रूक फाउंडेशन ऑनलाइन स्कूल के ज़रिए यकसा नसाब के मुताबिक तालीम हासिल करें। अगर हमारी वीडियोस पसंद आएँ तो चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें और दोस्तों के साथ शेयर करें और बेल आइकन को लाजमी दबाएं ताकि आइंदा आने वाली तालीमी वीडियोस आप हासिल कर सकें।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम बच्चों, उम्मीद है आप सब खैरियत से होंगे। बच्चों, ऑनलाइन स्कूल से आप मुकम्मल तालीम हासिल करके बोर्ड का इम्तहान बराए जमात नहम और दहम बेहतर तौर पर पास कर सकते हैं। आप अपनी उम्र और तालीम के मुताबिक मज़ीद तालीम हासिल करें। वालिदैन से फ़ोन या कंप्यूटर पर हमारी वीडियोस के ज़रिए तालीम हासिल करने की दरख्वास्त करें। रोज़ाना 1 से 2 घंटे ऑनलाइन पढ़ाई करें और जब आप स्कूल जाएंगे तो आपको मज़ीद किसी मदद की ज़रूरत नहीं होगी। इस तरह पढ़ाई करके अपना वक्त और वालिदैन के अखराजात में बचत कर सकते हैं। ऑनलाइन स्कूल की कोई फ़ीस नहीं है। आप जूम पर भी क्लासेस का फ़ायदा उठा सकेंगे। हर मजमून की मुकम्मल तालीमी वीडियोस मौजूद हैं। Students, I am taking all these contents of this chapter from the Punjab textbook board. Today we are going to study about the unit number 8, peace means aman. First of all, I am giving you some brief introduction about this poem. This poem is written by Dr. Hartman. The poem is about wind. The message of the poem is universal. Nature teaches us lessons through wind, water, mountains, and light. In the first stanza, wind is presented as a thing of destruction. In the form of storm, wind destroys everything. It destroys trees, fields, and buildings. In the second stanza, wind is presented as gentle and cool. It shows the grace of nature. It gives lives to birds, and human. The bright sky looks blue and beautiful. The poem describes different aspects of wind. The poetess is a great observer of life. The detailed and exciting description of wind depicts his keen interest in nature. The language of the poem is simple, but the manner of representation of wind is unique. This thought-provoking poem shows the skill of the poetess. The poetess seems to have full command of words and ideas. In short, the poem gives us a message that we have to face storms to enjoy peace. The poetess says that in spite of all this, the wind is in reality a peace-loving agent of nature. Everyone knows about its peacefulness and gentleness. It gives lives to birds and humans. Through the example of the wind, the poetess wants to make us realize that man is in reality peace loving and wants to live in peace. He firmly believes in peaceful coexistence. However, the factors which are at work and corrupt his peaceful nature are responsible for the destruction he causes. So, to establish peace all over the world, he must struggle against them and remove these factors. Peace is a metaphorical poem. The main theme of the poem is wind, that is fierce while enraged but gentle at its core. She unfolds the truth hidden in the depth and makes one know the actual nature of wind. Everything in this world has positive and negative aspects. Firstly, the poetess says that wind is symbol of hardship. It looks like an aggressive monster who smashes each and everything that comes in its way. When wind is in angry mood, it hang up men work, but when we look at the positive aspects of wind, then it is a symbol of life. It fills all the spaces in gentle and calm way. It only whispers and shows its presence. The poet says what he has described before is not the reality. The reality of wind lies in its gentleness and peace. It gives life to birds, and humans. The bright sky looks so blue and cloudless. There is peace and harmony everywhere. Only the mild and faint whisper of breeze can be heard somewhere at a distance. So, students, this was a brief introduction about this poem. Now we move on to the translation of the stanzas. First stanza: the wind is now a roaring, smashing monster of destruction, wrecking all man's work. From the valleys from the whales and sends them spinning, broken, flying. हवा अब एक तूफ़ानी तबाह कुन तबाही फैलाने वाली बला की तरह है, इंसानों के तमाम कामों को उड़ा ले जाने वाली, वादियों से, घाटियों से और उन्हें घुमाती हुई ले जाती है, रेज़ा रेज़ा उड़ाती हुई. So student, there is a question in a box. Why is wind compared to a monster? With what the wind is compared? So the answer is the wind has been called a monster that destroys everything around. There are some difficult words, their pronunciation, meaning and synonym related to the stanza number 1. First one is wind. Wind mean हवा, breeze. Roaring, शोर मचाती हुई, terrific. Smashing, तोड़ फोड़ करना, break. Monster, बला, giant. Wrecking, मलियामेट करना, drag. Destruction, तबाही, demolition. Spinning, घूमते हुए, twisting. Whales, वादियाँ, valleys. There are some difficult words and their sentences related to the stanza number 1. Wind. The wind is blowing. Roaring. The lion is roaring. Smashing. He hit the rock. Smashing. बेटा यहाँ पर कुछ डिफ़िकल्ट वर्ड्स के सेंटेंसेस बना दिए गए हैं. बाकी जितने भी डिफ़िकल्ट वर्ड्स हैं उनकी आपने ख़ुद से घर पे प्रैक्टिस करनी है. इन तमाम डिफ़िकल्ट वर्ड्स के आपने स्पेलिंग्स को याद करना है, प्रोनाउंसिएशन को देखना है लफ्ज़ों को पढ़ते हुए, ताकि आप उसको बेहतर तौर पर अदा कर सकें. मीनिंग्स और सिनोनिम्स को भी याद करना है एज अ होमवर्क. नाउ वी मूव ऑन टू द एक्सप्लेनेशन ऑफ द पैराग्राफ. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल हमने रेफरेंस लिखना है. रेफरेंस के अंदर हमने पोइम का और पोइट का नेम लिखते हैं. दीज लाइन्स हैव बीन टेकन फ्रॉम द पोइम पीस रिटन बाय डॉक्टर सिल्विया हार्टमैन. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट है कंटेक्स्ट. इसके अंदर मेन आइडिया हम लिखते हैं थोड़ा सा. द पोइम depicts the two aspects of the wind. One is callous and dark and the other is gentle and bright. Then the poetess concludes that the gentle and bright aspect of wind is its reality. Now there is some explanation about the stanza number 1. The above lines makes us see a stormy wind blowing hard, smashing things, demolishing buildings and leaving the debris spinning in the air. This stanza creates a picture of some coastal city devastated by a powerful hurricane. We hear the roar of the wind and see the broken pieces of things flying in the stormy wind. The image of monster makes us frightened. We see its monstrous hand leveling buildings with a rake. The very stanza creates an image of a very strong tornado with things flying and spinning in it. Next stanza number 2. But all of that is not its core. Its center is in truth, eternal stillness, bright blue skies, and all you hear are gentle whisper, far away and unimportant. लेकिन यही सब कुछ उसकी हकीकत नहीं है. उसका मरकज़ उस सच्चाई में है, दायमी सुकूत, रोशन नीले आसमान और वो सब जो तुम सुनते हो नरम सरगोशियाँ हैं, बहुत दूर और गैर अहम. There is a question in a box. Explain its center is in truth. इस लफ्ज़ का क्या मतलब है? So the phrase its center is in truth, eternal stillness means that peace is in fact its reality. कि असल में हवा की रियलिटी क्या है, उसकी सच्चाई क्या है कि वो पीस यानी कि अमन का दर्स देती है. There are some difficult words, their pronunciation, meanings and synonym related to the stanza number 2. First one is core यानी कि अंदर का हिस्सा, सेंट्रल. ट्रुथ सच्चाई, फैक्ट. इटर्नल अबदी, एवरलास्टिंग. स्टिलनेस सुकूत यानी कि लैक ऑफ मूवमेंट. जेंटल नरम मिजाज, काइंड. विस्पर सरगोशी करना, मरमर. फॉर अवे दूर दराज, डिस्टेंट. ब्राइट रोशन, शाइनिंग. There are some difficult words and their sentences related to the stanza number 2. Core. Don't throw the apple because of core. Truth. Any truth is better than make believe. Eternal. Rome has been called the eternal city. बेटा यहाँ पर कुछ डिफ़िकल्ट वर्ड्स के सेंटेंसेस बना दिए गए हैं. बाकी तमाम डिफ़िकल्ट वर्ड्स के सेंटेंसेस के आपने ख़ुद से घर में प्रैक्टिस करनी है, इनके स्पेलिंग्स को याद करना है, प्रोनाउंसिएशन, मीनिंग्स और सिनोनिम्स को भी याद रखना है। Now we move on to the explanation of the stanza number 2. First of all, reference लिखेंगे। These lines have been taken from the poem Peace, written by Dr. Sylvia Hartman. Context: the poem depicts the two aspects of the wind. One is callous and dark, and the other is gentle and bright. Then the poetess concludes that the gentle and bright aspect of the wind is its reality. Explanation of the second stanza. This stanza makes us hear the soft, sweet stream of air. It depicts the graceful and beautiful aspect of nature. Here the wind has taken the form of gentle breeze. It has been personified as a lover who whispers heartfelt feelings into the ear of his beloved. Likewise, the hushed and low whisper of wind make everything blush. It imparts sweet sensation to every beautiful thing. The sky looks sunny, blue, and cloudless. It makes everything feel quiet and calm. Only the mild and faint whisper can be heard somewhere in the distance. Now, there is a theme related to this poem. Nature teaches us lesson through wind, water, mountain, and amid light. Wind in the form of storm smashes everything. In its rage, it destroys tracks, fields, and buildings. But when the wind is gentle and cool, it gives lives to birds, and human. We have to experience storms to enjoy peace. कुदरत हवा, पानी, पहाड़ों और रोशनी के ज़रिए हमें सबक सिखाती है। हवा तूफ़ान की एक शक्ल है जो हर चीज़ को तबाह व बर्बाद कर देती है। अपने गैज़ व गज़ब में ये दरख्तों, खेतों और इमारतों को तबाह कर देती है, लेकिन जब हम हवा नरम और पुरसुकून होती है तो ये कलियों, परिंदों और इंसानों की ज़िंदगी बख्शती है। हमें अमन से लुत्फ़अंदोज़ होने के लिए तूफ़ानों का तजुर्बा करना पड़ता है। There is a summary related to this poem. In this poem, the poet wants to convey a message that we have to experience a storm to enjoy peace. Nature teaches us lessons through wind, water, mountain, and light. She says that the wind is in form of storm, smashes everything. In its rage, destroys trees, fields, and buildings. It becomes the monstrous of destruction. It takes all achievements of man from valleys to vales. It wheels the wreckage and sweeps it away. However, this situation does not last forever. After a certain time, it subsides. Then the wind becomes gentle and cool. Now it gives life to flower, birds, trees, fields, birds, and humans. The poet wants to say that the nature teaches us lesson through forces of nature. We have to experience storm to enjoy peace. There is peace after suffering and miseries. We have to pay for peace. तो बेटा आई होप आपको इस चैप्टर की अच्छी तरह समझ आ गई होगी। हमने जितने भी यहाँ पर ट्रांसलेशन की है, एक्सप्लेनेशन की है, यहाँ पर आपने जितने भी ये समरी वगैरह की है, आपने उसको अच्छी तरीके से याद करना है ताकि आपको आसानी हो इस चैप्टर को करने में। बच्चों, अगर आपको हमारी वीडियोस पसंद आए तो इस चैनल को लाइक और सब्सक्राइब करें ताकि आप आने वाली हर वीडियो से आगाह रह सकें। शुक्रिया।